We have got some breaking Premier League news. Sean Dyche to Nottingham Forest. Here we go. So in the space of just over a month, Marinakis has gone from Nuno Espirito Santo, sacked him for no apparent reason or some stuff going on behind the scenes, gone to Ange Postecoglou, which was a complete 180 flip. Ange Postecoglou has been sacked and he has gone to Sean Dyche, which has pretty much been a reversed 180, which
probably
is just
even more pragmatic than Nuno.
nuts. It's nuts what is going on in Nottingham Forest right now. We'll get into the Sean Dyche stuff in a minute, but Ange Postecoglou getting sacked after, 39 days in charge, 0 wins at the football club, 1 Premier League goal. He was conceding an average of, 2 to 3 goals a game in the Premier League as well. The amount of set-piece goals that they were conceding as well. It's actually mad to think about, they're one of the best defensive teams in terms of defending set pieces to literally the worst. And that's one of the things I said, how can you go from one of the best defensive teams to one of the worst in literally overnight? It's just madness. But what's your reaction to the Ange sacking?
Well, it's not unexpected, is it? I think I said before the game against Chelsea, if they lose heavily by 3 or 4 goals, I think it's likely he's going to go. At 2-0 down, Marinakis didn't even want to see the end of the game, did he? He was out of his seat, nowhere to be seen. He was pictured during the game with that angry look on his face. You could see the writing was on the wall for him. What's really interesting, though, is that during the game, for large parts, Forest were the better team. And I felt for him because they're hitting the bar, they hit the post, had all these chances. And the goals they conceded, Sells, awful mistake. Anyway, look, they lost 3-0. And it fell apart from the end. And I think the writing was on the wall for Ange Postecoglou. And I think when you got someone like Marinakis at the helm, who's kind of as volatile as he can be, I think his pride and his ego has been hurt by this change because he made a drastic change thinking that, we're Forest, we're in European football now, we need to be playing attacking football, we need to entertain all this kind of stuff. And I don't think on the face of it, going for a more attacking manager is a bad thing, but doing it 3 games into the season, we've got no pre-season, and expecting it to instantly get better, and only giving it a month essentially, is crazy. I think changing it is crazy, and then changing it and only giving it just over a month is also crazy. So I think he's now gone to Sean Dyche, who's probably even more pragmatic than Nuno was, and I think it's probably not for me, probably not as good as manager as Nuno is. I think he's completely ballsed it up. But in terms of the Ange thing, the problem Marinakis had is it was very toxic for the fans. They didn't take to him at all. They were unhappy with the change, and they're getting on his back already. They're singing "Sacked in the Morning," all these kind of things. And they had a good thing going.
From 4 games in.
They had a good thing going with Nuno. And if you're going to change it, right, it kind of has to work quickly. And the fact that it didn't work quickly, and it was never likely to work quickly, meant that it was always going to go in this direction unless he was able to kind of have the balls to stick it through in a little bit long term. At least give it a few months. Don't give it 1 month and expect it to turn. But you got to say, the results were awful. I think some of the performances in general weren't as bad as maybe the results suggested, but at the end of the day, they were conceding a lot of goals. And when they go from a good defence like they had last season to, I think, conceded 18 goals in his 8 games. So, that's obviously going to be looked at. So
you pride yourself on your attacking football, and they couldn't score a goal.
Yeah,
they couldn't put the ball in the back of the net. 1 goal in the Premier League in the month. It's shocking. It really is shocking, and the amount of embarrassments that they had as well, 2-0 up to Swansea, losing the game in the cup, the Midtjylland performance, losing to Sunderland at home. I know Sunderland's having a good season, but you expect to beat a promoted side when they're coming over to your stadium. So 1-1 with Burnley as well. I mean, look, it was just an embarrassment week after week, and they had first half against Chelsea, I thought they were decent. First half against Real Betis in Europa League, I thought they were decent. But
the chance, 2-0 down, it was harsh for them, I thought, to be 2-0 down. And then at 2-0 down, the amount of chances they had, they hit the post, the bar, Nico Williams had that unbelievable, they had so many chances and they just didn't put it away. And then they got hit by a sucker punch later on. Like, I felt for him. And just to, give, not credit, but like, in terms of what Ange was doing at Forest, it was very different in terms of how he was setting up back three. Not gung-ho. It wasn't completely the same as he was doing at Tottenham. He did change things up, but unfortunately it wasn't enough at the end of the day. And I think people obviously will accuse him of doing the same things, which I don't think he did. But at the end of the day, when it doesn't work, it doesn't work. That's the main thing. So he did change things up, but it wasn't good enough. And of course, when you have a manager like Nuno, who did such a good job last season, got them into Europe, and you change it for no real reason, and then it goes as badly as it has done, you're going to be under a lot of pressure to change it. And it seemed as though game by game, it was like, if he has to get a win or he's gone, he has to get a win. That can't go on, can it?
Yeah, they should have just sacked him over international break if they were waiting.
Yeah, that's also true.
If they were going to wait for the Chelsea game, because even if it was very unlikely they were going to beat Chelsea, just put it that way. Even if they had a good performance in the first half, with the way the results had gone, he may as well have sacked him over the international break instead of doing it in the dramatic fashion that he did. Like you saw on TV, because Enzo Maresca was obviously suspended, so he wasn't sitting far from Marinakis. And you know what Enzo Maresca's like. He likes a good celebration. And every time a Chelsea goal went in, he was going mad, and Marinakis was getting crazier and crazier. You could see the doom and gloom in his eyes were getting heavier and heavier. The second goal goes in, and like you said, you never saw Marinakis for the rest of the game. And as soon as they panned over to Marinakis' seat empty, you knew what was coming at the end of the game. You didn't think it would come as soon as it did to the full-time whistle, because I'm watching the game and I'm waiting for Ange Postecoglou's post-match interview, and then it just pops up saying no, Ange has been sacked, and that was like, I think it was 18 minutes after the final whistle.
Don't think I've ever seen that before.
I mean, the closest thing we've seen was Martin Jol sacking, wasn't it, at half time?
Yeah, we announced that straight after the game, to be fair, yeah. But yeah, it was crazy. It's crazy that he's apparently he was met by someone in the tunnel and told. And that was it, and he didn't he went to see the team, said his goodbye, and then left.
Yeah. Crazy.
Marinakis
crazy.
is just an absolute nutter.
And I think there was an interview with Ryan Yates and stuff, and he was saying he had no clue. He went on the pitch for a warm down after the game, and then as soon as he came into the tunnel, he was told, and it was just like, wow, what the hell is this club what is going on at this football club? And Nottingham Forest last year, best season for them for a very, very long time, probably since winning with Brian Clough and all that, but best season for them in the Premier League. And Marinakis has just chucked it all down the toilet. He really has. It's he said in the summer, Nottingham Forest always win, or I always win. At the end of the day, I always win. And ever since then, his club has just gone down the toilet, man.
Yeah,
and I'm here to see it, man, because Marinakis pissed me off big time in the summer, and he deserves everything that's coming his way, and he's ended up with a firefighter in Sean Dyche at the football club.
Do you think he's appointed Dyche because he really is worried that they could they're in a relegation? I know they're 18th at the moment, but it's so early on in the season that could easily be recoverable, in my opinion. Is he do you think he's appointed Dyche just till the end of the season, and then they'll go for a different manager, or do you really think he believes Dyche could be a good long-term appointment?
Yeah, it'd be interesting to see what the contract length is, but I can't see this being a long-term appointment. In my eyes, it is from just until now to the end of the season, because you got to look at it right. If they would have kept Ange on and you keep losing, you are embroiled into a relegation battle, because relegation this year is very different to what we've seen over the past couple of years. You've got teams like Sunderland who have come up and doing really well. You've got teams like Leeds looking like they got something about them. Obviously Burnley, I think Burnley, they won this weekend. So Burnley as well, getting 3 points. The only team that are really losing week in, week out are Wolves. So anyone can get sucked into this relegation battle this season, which is crazy. So any team in the bottom half have got to really watch themselves. And with Forest, with the way they're getting results week in, week out, you can't rule it out. You just can't rule it out.
Right. So do you think that's what his
100%. 100%.
His aim is just stay up.
I think
after 8 games.
Yeah, I mean,
they're 2 points away from safety.
I know.
So it's not exactly they're marooned at the bottom or anything.
Yeah, but you got to think about there's got to be.
Or is it a case of Dyche is just the best on the market?
I think it's a short-term appointment. I think it's just, look, we just got to make the most out of this season. Like, where else could they have turned? I guess like there was talks of Roberto Mancini.
I think if there's any truth to the rumours that they are balking at Fulham's Marco Silva's release clause, I think that's crazy. Just go and do it. 7 million. You know, I think that's a good long-term appointment. They can get you back on track this season, and I think that
Would Marco Silva want to go to Forest though? Like, he's got a good thing going at Fulham.
Does he? I know he does. I know that, but he doesn't have any money.
Yeah,
he's going to get frustrated. At Forest, he'll give him money. I think they've got better players at Forest, in my opinion. So I think if I'm Marco Silva, and I know he's ambitious and he's done it before, if Forest activate that release clause, I'm jumping ship.
Maybe. But maybe he's just looking at Marinakis being like, do I really want to work for this guy?
Well, he knows he's got a month to prove himself.
Like, after what Marinakis has shown this season, after the way he sacked Nuno, the way he sacked Ange now, surely managers are looking at that being like, do I really want to work for this guy?
I agree.
And also, not only just that, but all the previous misdemeanors as well. Like, this isn't, this is crazy. This is a crazy guy that you're dealing with.
True. You don't know who you want to get into bed with.
You know what I mean? And I think Ange was silly in the first case of getting into bed with Marinakis. Stupid to take the job. It was a completely wrong fit from the get-go.
But Ange must have, like he said, he's in his press conference saying, look, I'm just completely changing the way I'm playing when you're going to need time. He's like saying that. Like, was that conversation not had?
Yeah, I don't
know what I mean? It's ridiculous.
I think it's just everything. Everything stinks at Nottingham Forest at this moment in time. And with Sean Dyche, though, like obviously he's done good jobs in the past. What, you got Burnley to Europe at one stage, didn't he? This job that he's got on his hands at Nottingham Forest, he's got to have the best squad that he's ever had by a mile. Like with Everton, he had a pretty poor squad, kept them in the league, and they saved themselves from relegation on the last day a couple of times. At Burnley, obviously, nowhere near the level of squad now. So people have always said, like, Sean Dyche, I know, well, some people have said it, like, Sean Dyche is actually a good manager, and give him some better players, you never know what he can do. Has he always performed in the way that he's performing because of the squad that he's had? I think. Who knows? I
know, but they said that about Allardyce, and then he got a good squad with Newcastle, and he completely flopped.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know. We'll have to wait and see about Sean Dyche. Obviously, Everton are a better club than Burnley, but he never really got them any higher than where he got Burnley, to be honest. I think he's going to get the backing from the fans a bit sooner than Ange because he's a former Forest player. And he's probably going to get some more immediate results, I'm assuming. Who knows? I don't know who they got coming up, but maybe in the short term, he's probably not going to go 8 games without a win. Who knows? We'll have to wait and see.
He won't go 8 games without a win.
Probably not. So I think he'll probably get. I think the fans will take to him a bit quicker. But whether look, Forest, I know right now they're 18th, but I'm not saying this season they have to get back in Europe. That's got to be the long-term goal, isn't it? To be back in a European contention. Whether Dyche can take them there, I guess I'm not certain about that.
Well, I think what we know is that the style of play that Nuno implemented at Forest is obviously suited to them, with Milenkovic, Murillo sitting deeper, Ole Einar there at fullback. You've got hard workhorses in midfield like Elliot Anderson, Douglas Luiz now. Pacey wingers for the transition as well. Like I think it will suit Dyche's football, the squad that they have there. So I think it will turn around pretty quickly for Forest. I don't know if they're going to finish in Europe and stuff.
I don't know what a good season looks like for them anymore.
Yeah, I think there's more chance of them finishing the top half now than there was under Ange. That's my opinion.
Maybe. I don't know. Look, Dyche, do you reckon he's been told you have to come in and finish in the top half, like, or just keep him up? I don't know what his remit is. It's a bit difficult one, isn't it? Like, is he? Look, they've come into the season, spent a bucket load of money, and it's not like we're even halfway in. We're literally 8 games in, so there's a lot of the season left. So, like, does he have to go far in Europa? Does he have to finish top half, or be challenging for Europe, or is he just like, you have to stay up and that's your remit? But is it a bit too soon to be like, stay up and that's it?
Yeah, it is a bit too soon for that. But I think one good run from Dyche, and they'll be pretty much safe. won't they? And I think, they'll be sitting in the top half. So it's early days. I think Deitch can do a good job there. I really believe that. I don't know if he can do as well as Nuno.
Will he be there beyond the season?
That's a difficult question. I think it depends how well he does. Like, if he finishes in the top 7, then he probably will be. But if it's just a job where he keeps them up, finishes in like 13th, 14th, then he'll probably look to bring in someone new in the summer.
Yeah, I reckon. I don't know. Do you reckon he has a good chance to win Europa League?
Nah.
I can't see Deitch winning the Europa League.
Nah. Can you imagine Deitch winning the Europa League?
I can't see it.
If Deitch wins the Europa League, that makes our Europa League look
I can't see Deitch winning it, to be honest. No. Look, in my opinion, if I'm Marinakis, I would have given it more time with Ange. I understand the reasons he didn't, to be honest, and I understand it was a very toxic environment, and maybe he thought, better just end this now than let it carry on. So I do understand that. But in my opinion, if you're going to appoint him in the first place, you've got to give it more than 39 days.
Yeah, but also on the flip side of that, if you've realised you've made a mistake, then it's surely better to cut your losses as early as possible.
If you think you made a mistake, then fair enough. But I think, look, just my opinion, I think
he thought he made a mistake. The fans thought Marinakis, like everyone inside the football club, thought the appointment was a mistake.
Yeah, because they did well last season and there was no real reason to change it. So, of course, but if you're going to say, okay, we want to play more attacking football, then that's going to take a bit of time to change.
Which was a mistake.
Yeah, maybe it was a mistake to think that. It's fair enough, but you've made the decision.
Yeah, but he's made the decision, but then he's realised it was a mistake and now he's gone back to the kind of similar style of football that he had before.
My point is, if he's made that decision to do that, right, don't expect it to be going well immediately. You give it a bit more time.
There's a difference between expecting it to go well immediately and to see how bad it actually has gone, because the way that was extreme. Like how bad it went was extreme. And no manager with the set of players that he got given should be doing as bad as he did.
I mean, look at Iraola, how badly he started at Bournemouth. He nearly got sacked. And he was also very similar. He changed it from a very defensive to a very different style of play. I think the first 9 games they didn't win and they were playing awfully. And he was, I think, literally on the brink of a sack. And he, I think, scraped past, I can't remember who it was, like Burnley or something. And all of a sudden he started to turn around. So it can happen.
It's different, though. Bournemouth and Nottingham Forest are very different. Like Bournemouth at that time had pretty much next to no money next to them. They had no investment. They've got no resources at Bournemouth. Like Nottingham Forest just spent a hell of a lot of money. They've got some really good players there on the back of qualifying for European football and everything like that. Like I think it's just 2 completely different situations.
I think they're analogous. I think both, I think people were happy with Gary O'Neill as well. He kept them up, and when it looked like they were going to go down, he did a brilliant job. And everyone's like, why are you sacking him? And then it started awfully for Iraola. All the Bournemouth fans like, why the hell did we get with O'Neill? And then it started to turn around. I think, and they have good players. Well, anyway, I'm just saying it could have turned around. I think if he gave a bit more time, I understand why he didn't. And maybe if I was in a similar position, if I was under that much pressure to just get rid and change, maybe I would have done the same. I'm just saying, if he thinks at the moment that he pointed Ange, we're going to do this, then I think you got to give it more than a month. But he didn't. This is that's the reality. Maybe it was a mistake, and I guess I can maybe it probably was, because there was really no need to change it. To be honest, it probably was a mistake to think that way.
The real difference here, why I think he had to act quickly, was because of the situation I was talking about relegation this year, and anyone can go down. So the longer this form goes on, then the more likely it is you're going to be really pulled into that relegation battle. And Forest should be nowhere near that relegation battle with the squad that they have. And let's say these results kept happening over the next month, next 2 months, and they were struggling to pick up wins at all over the next 2-3 months, of course they're going to be struggling down the bottom, and you got teams, like I said, everyone at the bottom are picking up points apart from Wolves. So I completely understand, and I think it's the right decision from Marinakis.
Well, they got Sean Dyche in now. Look, you could have brought in Sean Dyche in 2 months, is my point, and you would have been in the same situation. But
yeah,
anyway.
Just probably a worse off situation.
Maybe. Who knows?
Yeah, well, if it was a better situation than it is now, then or if it's the same situation it is now, I don't know. I think it would have been worse, because I just couldn't see Ange. Like, you couldn't see him getting points.
Look, I thought they weren't playing that badly. I know they were losing.
He couldn't score a goal.
I mean, did you see the chances they were missing?
Yeah.
You know, Ange can't put it in the back of the net for them, can he?
Yeah, but we said that a lot at Spurs as well. It's just like, oh, we're just missing too many easy chances, and it's all down to individual errors and conceding from set pieces. Like, it's the same thing.
Well,
You can't just keep blaming like everyone apart from
I
the
watched
manager.
the games. I'm not saying every game they were great. Sunderland, they were awful. There were some games they were generally bad for sure. But you know, Chelsea, I thought they were the better team. Then all of a sudden, like within 5 minutes, they conceded 2 goals. One a horrendous error from the keeper. They then hit the bar, they hit the post, they do all, miss all these chances. Like they weren't that bad. Like
Why are Ange's teams like under Spurs and now under Forest like just riddled with individual errors? No matter what system he plays.
I don't think the Forest team was riddled with individual errors. I'm thinking on Saturday it was. I mean, the Sells goal was. I wouldn't say the team was. Look, I think he had to take responsibility for
conceding from set pieces non-stop. Like, there's no reason for that Forest team to keep conceding from set pieces in the manner that they were doing. Like they were one of, if not the best team from defending set pieces.
I understand that, but last season as well, they hadn't kept a clean sheet after March, so their defence was getting worse before before this season. It's not just this season; it's gotten terrible.
Yeah, but since Ange has come in, there was 2-3 goals a game.
Yeah, because there's a big change in how they're playing.
But still, they were still like playing with a defensive-minded setup, though. They were playing 5 at the back.
Under Ange, yeah, he was trying to play 3 at the back while also keeping them kind of like a front-footed team.
Yeah, and it just didn't work.
Well, in the short term, yeah, but again, we're talking about 5 Premier League games he had. Like, I understand it wasn't good, but it was like you're judging everything on 5 games.
Yeah.
After coming in once the season has started already, no pre-season, which is why Marinakis should never have made that decision when he did. I'm just saying, I think you could have given it a bit more time, but there you go.
Anyway, that is the breaking news. Looks like Sean Dyche is going to be the new Nottingham Forest manager. In unbelievable circumstances, Ange has been sacked by Nottingham Forest, and look, I do feel for Ange to a certain extent.
Just after he did that rant in the press conference as well, that big defence of his management, and then he gets sacked the day after.
He loves a good rant to defend himself, Ange, but he feels like he needs to defend himself at all times. Ange.
He said he did it because no one else was doing it, so he had to feel like he had to defend himself.
But why would anyone else do it? Like, who's going to do it?
So he has to do it.
Or he could just like go about things and actually get results on the pitch to do it. That's the way to do it.
Of course, he's trying to do that.
Yeah, he's trying, but clearly not good enough.
No,
but yeah, look, that's the situation with Nottingham Forest. Let us know your thoughts in the comment section below. Do you think Marinakis was right to sack Ange so quickly? And is it right to appoint Sean Dyche at this moment in time? But I think this whole mess has been brought on by Marinakis. So the 100%. Only guy to blame, if you're a Forest fan, is Marinakis here. You can't be going blaming Ange. You can't be blaming Nuno. It's all on Marinakis, this whole mess. And you reap what you sow at the end of the day. But let us know your thoughts in the comment section below, and we'll see you next time.